Hello, and welcome back. I feel like it's been a really long time, although it kind of hasn't been, because the last two videos were kind of like the podcast and the SDHO Sound Design Hangout. But today, we are back to a more traditional, straightforward tutorial. And essentially, there were certain tutorials that I knew I just needed to make, and then I made them. And so I had to ask myself, well, what other tutorials would I make? And so I've been sort of brainstorming some ideas. So long story short, I knew I was going to make one on RISERS because it goes over a lot of really important and really interesting facets of Ableton Live that we really haven't even covered yet. So I think this is going to be a great tutorial, but most importantly, this isn't just make a cool riser sound. You know, it's more like these are amazing ideas that you can use whether you're making a riser sound or it's just stuff that if you weren't aware of this, you're just going to get a whole lot of ideas. I think at the end of the day, this channel is going to give you lots of ideas. And I'd like to think that I farm a lot of ideas. So hopefully I can pass that on to you guys. So today's video is tips and ideas for making riser sounds. And if you don't know what a riser is, you normally hear it in like electronic music and EDM when everything's building up, and then right before the drop, there's like a sound that's like, woo, you know, something like that. You know what I mean? So I want to preface this tutorial because I know people can kind of get upset when they click on a video and they're like expecting a certain thing and then they don't get it and then they get mad. You know, please don't get mad at me, okay? I'm here to teach. I'm here to love. I care about you guys. But I want to preface this by saying, if you clicked on this video thinking that I was going to be making for you the coolest riser sound in the world, that's not what this is. This is me giving you ideas, really important, real useful techniques that you can use to make that really cool riser sound. And if you happen to think that what I do make is really good, well, then that's good too. But this is more or less for ideas. And by the way, guys, if you make a really cool riser sound, send it to me or tag me in it. So I do put my social media links down there. I'm mostly on Instagram, also Twitter. So we're going to get started here, and we're going to start small. We're going to build up, and we're not just going to be, this isn't just risers, you know, but we're going to be doing automation. So clip automation, which is something we haven't done yet. And also, we're going to be using macros, and not just macros, plural, but we're going to use what I've called the mega macro, which means you can map like 100 parameters to just one macro. So when you just twerk it up, and we're also going to get into MIDI mapping as well. So we're going to learn a lot of cool stuff. So even if you're not really interested in risers, like I mostly make like ambient and unusual, different music. So I don't have a lot of use for this, but to be honest, what I learned is these techniques can be used to make the most expressive and interesting sounds that you can literally just play on your keyboard and just with another hand be tweaking. So this goes well beyond risers, and I think you're really going to like it. So let's jump in. So I'm going to insert a MIDI track here. Record enable, and we're going to start with the good old OG device operator. And I'm going to come in here, double click to get a MIDI track, and I'm going to, let's do a D sharp. Do you like D sharp? Also called E flat. I really like that note. Let's see if this works. I'm going to click duplicate. So we now have 4 bars. I'm going to delete these notes. I'm going to highlight this note, which you can also do with Command A, and I'm going to click legato. I want one big, long note. So, and I'm going to push Command Option I to close the input-output input output panel, which you can also toggle on and off over here. So if we click play and launch our clip, this is what we got. Whoa, that's a big beefy boy. Let's lower down this master volume here. I'm gonna push stop. Okay. So, okay, what do we want to do? We want to take something that's playing and we want to automate a parameter to move it up, to sort of build excitement, build anticipation. So what's the most basic way you would do that? Well, if you're thinking pitch, you would be correct. So let's double click on here and we're going to click MIDI control and see we have pitch bend. Click this 0, which means no pitch bend. I'm going to move it over here so it starts right at the 1-1, and then I'm going to click and I'm going to move this all the way up, and I'm going to just move it over here. You can get real fancy with it, but I'm just going to go very basic, you know, to our starting pitch, that low D sharp E flat note. D sharp E flat's the same note. And then we're going to move it up. This is as much as you can crank it up. So I have no idea how loud or this is going to be. Shouldn't be that loud, but this will just give you an idea. This is a pitch bend. If you didn't know this, we're starting small. We like to start small and grow big on this channel. So here we are. Let's launch this clip. So that's its starting pitch we had before. Okay, now let's push stop here. It didn't really, now we actually can't move this up anymore, but if we push Shift Tab and we go into, we want to make sure we are in the master panel over here in Operator, and we're going to crank this all the way up, this pitch to plus 24. That is the amount it can go up. So let's go back in here, and now as we will see, and by the way, if you notice that our display is off here, we have to go back into MIDI control. See how there's that little note next to it? That means that's an automated parameter. It was only going all the way up, just 5 semitones, which is not very big. Now it's going to be going up 2 octaves. So take a listen to this now. Okay, see, now we went up. Now we can go up higher, like we can take this and we can put it down, but now it's gonna start 2 octaves below that note, which will be like super duper subby, and then go all the way back up to where we were at. So let's see what that sounds like, just to illustrate this concept. Super low. Okay. Wow, I can even hear that on my headphones, that low sub bass. I want to have it go back to 0, which, edit value, okay. 0. Just because I like it to start at that pitch so I know where it's going to go. So going up 2 octaves, that's fine for me. As I've mentioned, we can't go up anymore. Actually, let's type 36, see if it lets us do it. No. It's like, you can only stretch me up 2 octaves. Anymore, Ableton's operator says, no thanks. I don't blame it, right? So anyways, let's see. So that's just a basic pitch bend. What would you do? What else would you do? Well, we're going to do some other things. I think we're going to keep it there for now. In fact, no, we'll keep it there. We'll keep it there for now. And before we move on, I just want to show you something really quick. So if we double click on here, it basically shows whatever parameter you last touched. So the last parameter I last touched was in operator in the pitch bend. That's why it shows this. So again, to get back, we have to click MIDI control, pitch bend. Now, if you hover over this pitch bend, here's just some quick little tips before we move on. And by the way, guys, if you think I'm moving way too slow, hopefully you don't. I know what it's like, okay? I know what it's like when you don't have a lot of time and like you want to like learn how to make a quick, good riser, and you got excited and you clicked a video and the video's not giving what you wanted close enough or quick enough, and you get upset. I've been there. So I just want to say, like, this tutorial channel, I want to give you so much info, everything I've learned over my 9 years of using Ableton consistently. So if you're looking for super quick wham bam thank you man type tutorials, you're probably not going to find them here, but I'm sure there's other people that will do that. So right now we're in this pitch bend right here. Now if you click option, you will see it change, and if you drag down, you can get a nice little curvy curve, which some people like. I kind of don't mind. I don't mind the linear envelope going up, but that's just something you can do. Another thing you can do is you can highlight a section like this. You can right click and look at these little shapes. Let's click one of these shapes, shall we? And then we'll get those shapes here. So rising up. Oh, what's going to go on? Yeah, so just want to let you know that you can do that. Command Z. So those are just some interesting things. Again, if you're not getting that, you have to highlight a certain position. So you could like come in here and you could like highlight this little position, right click, say, okay, give me this sort of a thing. And then we can, let's see, come in here, highlight this, and then do like Shift D for duplicate. So while we're rising up, ooh, that already just gives you an idea. You know what I mean? And then, if you come in here, experiment, play with these things. Ultimately, at the end of the day, guys, if all you're trying to do is like, I've got to make bangers and I got to make that sweet cash and I got to sell that merch, I don't blame you, right? We're all trying to get to a place in our lives like that, but you can also have a lot of fun. And I think the more fun you have, the better bangers you'll put out. It's the funness to banger quotient. I don't know, just having fun. All right, so we're going to come back into here and we are going to Command Z and get out of that. And now we're going to go back into our operator device. So I'm going to come into here into oscillator A. And I'm going to go to a square 6, which is just going to give us more harmonics here. So this is what it's going to do to our sound. It's just going to make it more harmonically dense. And then we're going to play with that a little bit. So launching the clip, here's how it sounds different. Okay, so what will we do next? So we're now going to venture into our mega macros. So if you highlight, click on the operator device and push Command G. And by the way, I'm on a Mac, so every time I say Command G, I believe it's Control. Instead of Command, it's Control on a PC. So I'm going to push Command G, and now we've grouped it. So now we've got these nice macros. Now, you can map as many of these things, many parameters to these macros as you want. But we're just going to be using macro 1. So to simplify things, I'm going to click this little button here. Just have one big beefy macro here. And let's give it a color, because you can do colors. I love colors. Colors makes it more fun. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to push a note. Ouch. We're going to lower this frequency. And we are going to right click on this frequency and we're going to map it to macro 1. And we're going to come over here and we are going to rename this to Mega Macro. By the way, guys, I've copyrighted Mega Macro, so if you guys ever use Mega Macro, I'm going to be very upset, and I'm going to be, yeah, just kidding. You can use Mega Macro if you want. I don't know if anyone has called it Mega Macro. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to double click on the clip and I'm going to make sure we're in here. See how we're on instrument rack, Mega Macro. See how it's already dialed up for us, because it knows that's what we did last. And I am going to lower this all the way down. I will make an adjustment later. I'm going to move it all the way up. So now when we push play, we are going to have a nice filter envelope going up. And so this is what we're going to have here. So we've got this red line. This is the automation, the clip automation from our instrument rack, the Mega Macro, which we're going to map a lot of things to. And if we click play, here's what we now have. Now you're going to see the filter is going to open up here. You're also going to watch the Mega Macro going up. Okay. Now here's what we're going to do. If we click this little M over here, and by the way, I'm just going to add some of these guys back. Actually, never mind. I don't know if it would display these top ones differently, so I'm going to click on this M. That's for our MIDI map. Now, I don't want it to start all the way down at 30 hertz. I want it to start open a little bit, so I'm going to move this up here, which says, where is it going to start on the minimum? And I'm just going to type in 333 because I think that's a pretty delicious number. A very metaphysical number. I hope you don't mind all these little sidebars and weird voices that I do. That's just how I am. That's just who I am. Honestly, guys, like this channel, all the things I do, this is just who I am. Like this is everything. All the weird voices, all of the animations I do, no pun intended. That's just all me. So you're just getting me, okay? I'm not doing this for likes, although I do want to grow this channel so I can keep making more content for you. So if you are enjoying this so far, like, comment, and subscribe. It just gets the video out to more people. Thank you. So now when we play this, we're going to be starting at 333 hertz. So it didn't start so low. And I'm going to push Shift-Tab to get back into this view. Okay. So Shift-Tab to go back into instrument view here. And we're going to do some more stuff. And in fact, I'm going to go into our panel here, and I'm going to give it a little bit more harmonics because I really want it to just rip open. Square 32 is going to give us more harmonics. To be honest, guys, you got all of these. I want something very harmonically dense, so you can use a saw wave or you can use a square wave. If you guys have been watching my channel, you know that square waves, okay, so if we did a saw wave, it does every harmonic, which you would think would make it extra louder and beefier, but I find that I just like the sound of square waves more because it sounds more open. So even though you're getting less harmonics because a square wave skips every harmonic here, I just like the sound better. So by all means, use a saw wave if you want. And what's really cool is like after you found your sound, if you want to then say, okay, well, let's see what it sounds like as a saw wave. Well, you can do that and it might sound completely different. And sometimes it might even sound better. So just play around. Again, we're doing this for fun because you want to be having fun when you're doing this stuff. So I'm going to come back in here to filter. Let's see what we got. We're going to go into LFO. And so now if I play a note, okay, we're going to get that. So let's see here. I'm going to right-click on the rate, and I'm going to map it to Mega Macro, because I want that. We want that sound. I know you've heard that sound a whole lot, but when the amount goes all the way up, it's going to really. So we are going to right-click on this, and we're going to map it to Mega Macro. So we're going to click the M for MIDI map here, and we're going to adjust these parameters. Let's see here, the LFO amount. I'm going to start it at like 34%, have it go all the way up to 100%. And then for the LFO rate, I'm actually going to move it all the way up to like 90 or so. And I'm going to click off this. I'm going to go into MIDI effects because what you can also do is you don't even have to rely on launching the clip in with all the automation. You can drop this pitch on here and play it. We're going to just play it. Listen to that. So like, if it sounds almost like a machine gun or something. I'm going to deactivate it because the note I have in here is the note that I have in here is like really low. And so when I play a note on my laptop keyboard, it's like just by default high. That's why I put the pitch on there, just so I can play around. So watch all of this stuff get done turned up. So look at our mega macro, and we've got these guys turning up here. Pretty intense. I have these on pretty much every sound. I have an EQ8 and a compressor. I'm going to add some compression here just to sort of even out the sound so it doesn't get too crazy. I mean, obviously these sounds, they build in intensity. So what might you want to do? Well, I'm going to turn the pitch back on so I can play this at a starting point similar to that clip. Ouch. By the way, if you do shift up arrow or shift down arrow, it moves it up and down by an octave over here. And I'm going to lower this overall volume. And in fact, I'm going to turn the, actually, no, I'll leave the pitch where it is. And again, if you come into here, if you go instrument rack, we've got our mega macro here. Every single thing we map to the mega macro is just going to start at 0 and go all the way up. It's not exactly 0 because when we do our MIDI mapping stuff, we basically get to say where that 0 value is. We've got our MIDI control pitch bend doing its thing. In fact, I'll actually give it a little bit of a slope here. See if we like that better. And I'm going to push Shift Tab to go back to the device view. And we've got this. Now we're going to do a crazy one, guys. We're going to do a crazy one. So over here, we are in Operator, which is an FM synthesizer. And what we're going to do is we are going to right-click, and we're going to map this to the mega macro. Now this is introducing FM synthesis, and we're going to play it and we're going to see it's going to get really crazy at the end. So we're introducing FM modulation. So we've got all these parameters. We've got the filter frequency. We've got the LFO rate. We've got the LFO amount. We've got the pitch. All of these things just shooting up. We've got it controlled with our macros here, with our MIDI mapping, so we can say where does it start and where does it end. And you might say, man, it's too intense. I don't want the filter frequency to go all the way up to 18.5 thousand hertz. Well, lower it, lower it. So, you don't have to use the max all the time. Maybe you don't want to get that turned up. So let's see here. We are going to, where is it? Did we already do it? Yeah, so right now we just added some FM. So our FM is going to take us up here. So let's see what this sounds like. It's probably going to be pretty crazy. And in fact, let's launch it here. If it's too loud, I'm just going to lower it when I'm editing the video later. Hear that FM? Ah, man, that really hurt my ears. But I'm doing it for you guys. I'm hurting my ears for you, but your ears won't hurt, because I will make sure they won't hurt later when I adjust the volumes in the editing of the video. So what else would you do? Well, I've got an extra special trick. Look at this spread over here. Right-click spread, map to mega macro, map to mega macro. It's one of those like toy boats. You say it too many times and you just can't talk anymore. Toy boat. You just can't do it. Okay, so let's get this spread all the way down. So you'll see it'll just like open up big time. And actually what I'm going to do is, because it gets so loud and so bright, I'm going to go to audio effects, and I'm going to go into EQ and filters. I'm going to drop an auto filter over here, and I'm just going to take out some of these highs. So like my ears don't bleed. I love you guys, but I don't really want my ears to bleed during the podcast. Okay, or not podcast. The podcast is the SDHO. So let's listen to this now. Listen to how it's going to get wider. See the spread value over here? I couldn't even, that was just too intense. So I'm going to add some audio effects. I'm going to close this compressor down, close this auto filter down. I'm going to come into pitch and modulation, add a chorus. When things get really bright, like very bright high frequencies. A chorus can really tame it down and make it, oh wow, that was pretty crazy. Yeah. Yeah, sounds pretty crazy, don't it? Okay. So what else can we do? Well, you might be thinking, could I map some of these devices over here? Like maybe I want a delay. By the way, delay will make it not be so crazy loud. So yeah, we might put a delay in here, okay? Ooh, nice, right? Nice. Very, very, very bloody nice. But we actually can't map it to our mega macro until we drag and drop it into here. Now we can map it to that mega macro. So I'm going to map this feedback to the mega macro. I'm going to map this dry wet to the mega macro. And I'm going to come into here. Now, I don't know, do we want them to start at 0? Because look, if we turn this down, you'll see that they're both at 0, and then they'll all get turned up. Let's see. By the way, I'm going to adjust the delay. I'm going to do this so I turn it off of sync mode. I want to have them different. And I'm actually going to drop a reverb on here as well. Let's go into reverb, and let's drop just a regular reverb. And I dropped it in this rack so I can map these parameters. And I'm going to right click and do the dry wet to the mega macro. And I'll even do the decay time as well, because that's the tail to the mega macro. And I'm going to go into our mapping. So I'll start, the lowest on the reverb decay will be here, the lowest here. Maybe I don't want the full decay time. I'll lower that down a little bit. Maybe I don't want the full dry wet. This is all to taste, so honestly, just do whatever feels good. And I'm going to click this off, and let's see what we got here. Push play. Ooh, that's deep. Way too deep. Actually, push stop. It's extra deep because this pitch is on. I'm only using the pitch because when I play on my laptop keyboard, it's playing at a higher octave than what the MIDI note up here is. Let's just go back into instrument rack, mega macro. So let's push play. Whoa, 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 whoa. I just got some ESP. A couple of the viewers said, hey man, you know what? I really liked when it got to the top, but I kind of want to hear it trail off. I don't want to hear it just stop. How would I do that? Well, brilliant question. Thank you so much. You really did help me on this tutorial today. Thank you very much. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to click back over into here, and we're going to duplicate this, and we're going to delete this. I'm going to extend this baby out. By the way, if you want to see this bigger, you come into here and you can blow it up. And then we're going to come into here, and we don't want this. So if you see how we got this highlighted, click somewhere to get off of that highlighted thing. Double click this little guy, and I want to keep it open. And I want to click up here, and then I want it to go down. And I don't want this guy, so I'm going to double click him, and I'm going to bring it down. So now we're going to have this go up and then down. And then I'm actually going to go back into here, and I'm going to go to MIDI control and the pitch bend. See, I don't want this either, so I'm going to click over here. I'm going to click this guy to get rid of it. So those are just some ideas, guys. Don't want to make this video too long. Guys, I mean, look at all these audio effects, right? You could just anything. I mean, for instance, here's something I never use. I don't ever use vocoder. Never use it. But I'll just drop a vocoder on here. Actually, no, it wasn't vocoder that I wanted to do. I got this idea. Like, I like to drive around and just drink some coffee and like listen to music and get like juiced up, and then I'm like, I like farm ideas, and I'm like, oh, you should probably drop a vocoder. Not vocoder. Delete. Let's drop. It was Redux, because Redux can do some pretty cool stuff. I think a Redux could do pretty good on here. Let's see. Where's Redux? Where is the Redux? Where is the Redux? By the way, they didn't used to have these folders. They added that with Ableton Live 11, I think because they wanted to simplify things for people rather than having like 30 audio effects. But I think it actually made it more confusing for your average newbie, but it also made things more convenient and more simple. So it's like it did two things at the same time. So let's put this Redux here. And we have to be careful because things can get super... I'm going to right-click and close down... minimize the operator, and I am going to put our pitch back on because I want to play this. Wow, dude, that's pretty cool. This jitter's a good one, I think. Okay, so I'm going to map this rate to Mega Macro. I'm going to map the bits to Mega Macro. Be very careful with this, guys. Redux can literally blow up Ableton in your computer. You have to be careful. So we need to definitely go into these parameters. Where is our Redux? Redux is right here. So the sample rate. I don't want it to get any lower than that because that could be crazy. The jitter, man, I don't know. I'm getting real nervous here because like this thing can get really crazy. And the bit depth. If you go all the way down to like a 1 bit depth, it can basically like melt faces off. And yeah, I don't know if you want that. Hear that? So you can just play this. I mean, you can just create, like, look at this. Okay. Insert audio track. Command-Shift-I to open this up. Go into, we're going to record from instrument rack, record enable, and we're going to click record here, and then we're going to play around. So, like, look, we got this going on. So you'd be like, oh, I like that sound. And then you can come into here. See, then we got that sound. And you can do like all kinds of stuff with that. Okay, just come back in here. Shift this down a little bit. Anyone like sound effects? So that's why I said, like, you can do this for like so many things, man. Beautiful. Turn off the pitch. Now, come in here. So you got that all. You can do all that cool stuff. Resampling. Let me know if you love resampling. By the way, you can also do resampling, not just with audio, but with MIDI notes as well. So that's pretty cool. And we're going to lower this volume a little bit because we don't like when our ears bleed. Unless you like when your ears bleed, drop a like in the comments. Okay, and we're going to record. I like that noise, right? And then what we can do is we can come into here and we can use some of my favorite tricks and techniques. And like I liked that beginning part. So let's go into here and let's take a look at that wonderful beginning part, which is because we have that redux. So I like that. I like that. Let's go down here because we're in repitch mode for warp. Let's click ×2 a couple times. See what it sounds like when we time stretch it. It's going to be deeper. Let's see what it sounds like. Not what I thought it. Divide it by 2. See if this sounds pretty cool. Yeah, pretty cool. I'm going to duplicate this clip. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in down here, crop sample. Then I am going to insert a MIDI track. And then I am going to go to simpler. I'm going to drag this baby down here. I'm going to turn off the record enabled. And so now if we play a C3, by the way, this is just having fun. Like, this is just showing you other cool stuff to do in Ableton. Because I would just want to show you how cool Ableton is. I'm going to click Warp down here. I'm going to go to Complex. And I'm also going to go to MIDI Effects. I'm going to drop a pitch. And And I'm just playing that across the keyboard. I'm going to come in here to release, give it some release, so after I play them, they ring out. I'm going to drop the pitch down. I'm going to turn off snap, turn on loop. I'm going to bring the loop in here. Bring down this little guy. I'm going to turn it off warp, because when you turn off warp, you can then use the crossfade. You can't use a crossfade on warp, so Ableton devs, please change that. They'll say, well, he doesn't know, because once you put in warp, that totally negates the abilities to properly do the crossfade. Fly me out to Berlin. How about that? I'll do some stuff. So look, so like we can add this stuff in. So when we play it, it'll like... So there's a lot of things you guys can do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back into our original thing. You can keep adding things. By the way, if you don't know how to add these guys over here to the macros, you have to like drag them in, and then you'll be able to map them. So you can go, okay, oh, now we can map it to mega macro. Now this little guy is going to move up here. So if we click play, see, we got this going. So I hope you guys got a lot of really good ideas today. This is ideas, like gold. We're farming amazing ideas. Use these techniques, make something good. I'm sure you'll probably make something a lot better than what I made. Tag me in it. Like, let me know. Let me see what you guys made. What's really nice about this is that we're able to we don't even have to do riser sounds. Like, you can just map a bunch of things and then play notes and then just like make interesting sounds. You know? So a lot of ideas. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did enjoy, please like, comment, and subscribe. I've been writing down ideas for new tutorials, and I want to make sure they're well thought out before I just start making them. I'm going to be test driving a lot of new concepts in future sound design hangouts, which is my podcast. So for instance, I think it was SDH04, I want to say. We got a lot of great things on where I played around with ideas for risers, because I was like, I haven't made a riser sound in 2 years. Like, let's trial it out.
It's time for your kitty. You want some kitty? You want the kitty? So we call his dog food. Go to kitty. You want some kitty? Yeah. Hey, he'll just stare at me and go, because he wants a kitty. Little boy wants some kitty. Oh, he want a kitty. Okay, just chill, you little crazy puggy. Get your stinky kitty. Merlin, give me 2 seconds, please. Don't worry, you're gonna get your kiwis. You want kiwis? You want your kiwis? You want your kiwi? You want your kiwi? You want your kiwi? He said, stop talking and give me the kiwi.